Cameras, action. A little green tea, a little matcha latte. So my new song, Highlights, is out now on Future House Music. It's with Philip Strand, incredible Swedish vocalist, songwriter, and he sent me this incredible demo. So let's hear what he originally sent me. It's just an a cappella with some acoustic guitar.
We lost our fire, that's how it goes. All we got left is the afterglow. So I'll take the memories and good times to go. You should know, yeah baby, you should know. I'm gonna hold on to the highlights. I'ma keep you around in the corner of my mind.
Okay, so I love demos like that. They have lots of space and I can really envision what I want to do with the song and how I want to wrap it up. And usually that is a matter of going through and adding new chord voicings, adding some movement, adding some drums, putting in leads, secondary leads, arpeggios, bass lines, and then wrapping it up with window dressing. So we're going to go through all the stems right now, starting from the drums, and we're going to go one by one and just do a little behind the scenes, how the whole song came together. All right, so I always start with a kick. And then I had a bunch of Oliver loops in here. I think these are from his 80s pack, but it's almost like a little Afro house flavor. So we got a lot of closed hi-hats, open hi-hats, but drums for percussion. So that's full enough and it's moving things forward and it's not getting too busy. This song does get busy. So let's start. We got the drums all together. They sound like this. And then I'm gonna bring in the chords. So I started with some chord stabs using the trusty Chord M1. So let's hear what just the piano sounds like with the drums. And it's super thin because I've really carved around that just to make space for the synths, which are the next layer. So there's a mix of different parts, different octaves being used, but also got some vowel chords with a little bit of a vowel filter on them. A couple octaves of Dune, which is an incredible soft synth, one of my favorites. Also love Legend HZ, the Hans Zimmer synth that he put out earlier last year. Incredible, incredible plugin. So you've got those layers. You've also got some detuned analog pad layers to just add a little bit of bitters to the cocktail. Let's see how all three main layers come together. Let's hear that with the kick and the drums. So all those chord voicings are done in reaction to the vocal, and when the vocal is sparse, then I use more elements. So I brought in this cool little arpeggio, just something weird and different, and occupies a different part of the spectrum and has a kind of quirky melodic sense to it. And it works really nice as a call and response with the vocals. So we can hear the vocal hook, which is very minimal, just because there needs to be enough space. That's like the chorus tag, maybe post drop. That's where all the energy is happening. There's enough room for the rhythm to move forward, but it's not as dense as some of the verses, vocally at least. Right, so also underneath those chords and all those other layers, we've got some bass layers. So there's a bass arpeggio from Nexus. And then we've got a mid-range layer in Dune. And then 808 layer to round out that bottom octave. All right, and then I thought it was like missing something, so it needed some little drone hits, some little lead hits to establish the tonal center of the song, give a little tension, and move it along so it's easier for DJs to mix in and out of. So let's hear those leads. So it might be a little hard to hear that, so I'm going to solo those leads. A lot of layers in the song are using one of my favorite plugins, which is Trem Control by Goodhertz, and sometimes automating the rate and the note divisions, but that is an incredible way to create space and urgency and movement in your song. So great plugin. Especially for chopping up legato sounds and sustained paths. Okay, so let's listen to the breakdowns and some of the verses and see how sparse these are, because I'm mainly using filters to introduce elements. And then after that, we're going to talk about some of the window dressing and some of the final stages.
You met somebody, I'm going slow. I still hear our song on the radio. So I'll take the memories and good times to go. You should know, yeah baby, you should know. I'm gonna hold on to the highlights. I'ma keep you around in the corner of my mind.
So everything's kind of filtering in. You've got the bass line, which has a lot of layers to that, being filtered in. You've got the guitar being filtered in, the chords. Actually, on this, there are no chords. It's just the guitar chords, so there's no synth chords. So that is always something I try to do in the verses, is maybe fold the chords, tease it, have a little bit of tension, let it build and let it brood. And one of my favorite things about this song is that melancholy, that brooding melancholy. That's what I always look for in songs. And I always know it's a hell yes or a hell no when I get these demos in. I know if it's something I can work with immediately. First listen, it's not about it growing on me or whatever, but if I can clearly hear it in that first demo and it's not too overly produced and I can wrap my sound in my head around it, then I know it's something I can work on.
You met somebody, I'm going slow. I still hear our song on the radio. So I'll take the memories and...
All right, so in terms of window dressing and other steps, there's some stuff I like to do. I like to put little ratchets in on the synths and have little turnarounds just to add a little tension and just make it a little less static. So I use that in a turnaround, so it's not just randomly going to have this ratchet, repetitive note division thing happening. It's with purpose, and it's moving it into the next section before the end of the bar. So let's hear how that sounds all together. Okay, so we got little touches like that happen towards the end of the process. Window dressing, so the snare builds, the white noise, effects, splashes, reverb, reverses, actually vocal reverses sometimes. Let's see what I got. It's always a little tedious doing these, but they really help to pull you into the vocal and foreshadow the vocal. So helpful to have those reversed bits. That's just taking a chop of like a vowel in the vocals, blasting it with reverb, compressing it, reversing it, and then getting rid of that, like the attack of it. So it's making it 100% wet usually, and there's probably some other better ways to do it, but that's how I do it. And in this final break, which builds to the final bridge, I guess you could say, before just the last drop, just focusing on the bass and keeping it a little darker. And I think when you can balance melancholy and sort of the happiness has an edge to it, and there's some darkness in there. And then it's balanced, I feel like. So you could do like a happy drop and a dark breakdown. So it's a little mix of both. It's kind of a compound emotion song. And then for that build, I'm folding things up, just cranking the tension just a little bit.
I'm gonna hold on to the highlight. I'ma keep you around in the corner of my mind. Highlights. I forget all the bad. I remember what we had in highlights.
All right, there you have it. That's my new song, Highlights with Philip Strand. It's out now on Future House Music.